Welcome back to the Mind Compass, your 10-minute dose of mindset growth for stress management, anxiety relief, and personal development. Wada.
And g'day listeners, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet.
And today we're diving into a challenge many of us face: how to balance work and life without sacrificing one for the other.
By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with a new approach to work-life harmony, why balance isn't about equal time, but intentional energy investment. Practical strategies from top thinkers including Warren Buffett, Brené Brown, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson will help you set your priorities, boundaries, and focus on what truly matters.
And we'll give you some actionable techniques like the 80-20 rule, time blocking, and the weekly check-in to help you create a fulfilling work and personal life. So let's jump in. Let's be honest, there's a reason this struggle feels so real. Because work can be all-consuming and personal life can feel like it's always playing catch-up. But what if we shift our perspective? Instead of the work-life balance, what if we aim for work-life harmony? Jim Rohn said, time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you can never get more time. And yet so many of us trade away our time in pursuit of career goals, thinking we'll find the balance later. But what if it never comes?
Let's start with the myth of work-life balance. We've been sold the idea of balance means equal time for everything, but life doesn't work like that. Tony Robbins puts it well: where focus goes, energy flows. If you're trying to give 50% to work and 50% to life at all times, you'll feel stretched thin. Instead, focus on intentional energy investment, being fully present in the moment wherever you are.
So our first tip is to prioritize. Warren Buffett has a simple yet powerful strategy called the 25-5 rule. And he suggests listing your top 25 priorities and then circling only the top 5. And what about the rest? Well, they become your avoid at all costs list. Why? Because they distract you from what truly matters. So apply this to your daily life. Ask yourself, what are your top 5 non-negotiables in work and life right now?
Secondly, Brené Brown reminds us that daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. This means learning to say no to unnecessary things, to social events that drain you, to unnecessary meetings, to unrealistic work expectations. A real-world example, Bill Gates. Even at the peak of his career, he blocked out think weeks. Dedicated time for deep thinking, reflection, and learning. What's your version of a think week? Maybe it's a tech-free Sunday or a strict no work emails after 7 p.m. rule.
Thirdly, Amazon's Jeff Bezos doesn't believe in work-life balance. He believes in work-life integration. He says, if I'm happy at home, I come into the office with tremendous energy. And if I'm happy at work, I come home with tremendous energy. So instead of seeing work and life as competing forces, see them as interconnected. And a practical tip for this is time blocking. Schedule work, family, self-care, and fun just like meetings. And protect those blocks like your most important commitments.
Then we have the good old Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, which tells us that 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions. Apply this to your life. 80% of your fulfillment might come from only 20% of your relationships. 80% of your work success comes from 20% of your efforts. Identify your 20% and invest more in these areas, cutting back on the non-essentials. Then we have mindfulness. Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, collapsed from exhaustion due to overwork. That was her wake-up call. She now advocates for mindfulness, sleep, and self-care as the keys to lasting long-term success. Start small. Begin your day with 5 minutes of mindful breathing. Take short breaks to reset your focus throughout the day and set an evening wind-down routine that doesn't involve screens.
And what about the importance of play? Richard Branson, the founder of the Virgin Group, once said, "Fun is one of the most important and underrated ingredients in any successful venture. Work shouldn't be about grinding, it should include moments of joy. So schedule non-negotiable fun time every week. Find ways to integrate play into your work environment and use laughter and fun as a daily stress reliever.
And then there is another point we've covered before, the science of saying no. Steve Jobs famously said focusing is about saying no. If you want to achieve greatness at work and have a fulfilling life, you need to be really selective. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. A practical step, try the hell yes or no rule. If something doesn't immediately excite you, it's a hell no. Finally, the weekly check-in.
Billionaire investor Ray Dalio believes in radical transparency, not just with his teams, but with himself. And he schedules weekly reflection sessions to assess what's working and what's not. So a tip to do this is every Sunday take 15 minutes to reflect on your week. Identify what drained you and what energized you. Or as Jim Rohn used to put it, what's got you turned on and what's got you turned off. And then adjust your upcoming week accordingly.
To wrap up, here's your challenge. Identify your top 5 priorities using Buffett's method. Set one boundary inspired by Brené Brown. Try time blocking like Bezos.
Find your 20% focus areas with the 80-20 rule. Integrate mindfulness into your daily routine. And whatever you do, schedule some time for fun. And use the hell yes or no rule to filter your commitments. And finally, start a weekly reflection habit like Ray Dalio. Remember, harmony isn't about getting everything done. It's about getting the right things done.
That's it for today's episode of the Mind Compass. I hope today's discussion has given you the tools and motivation to rethink work-life balance and start crafting a new, empowering approach to harmony in your daily life. If you found value in this episode, share it with a friend who you think might need to hear it.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more people like you embark on their journey of growth and transformation.
So I'd like to leave you with one final question. What's one small change you can make today to create more balance, harmony, and fulfillment in your life?
Until next time, steer your mind in the right direction and watch your life follow.
Love and blessings.
See ya.